So I've been doing sports for the most part my entire life, and I've had a lot of injuries along the way, but nothing ever significant or anything that has severely kept me away from any sport that I was doing at the time. A couple of weeks, or I think a few months maybe after Hurricane Irma, we managed to get to go on the field to play football, flag football again for the first time. And, it was super exciting. We've been doing, well, I was doing so much work with like disaster relief and not being able to like really see my guys again. So the opportunity to go back on the field and play football was like absolutely amazing. Um, but I guess having not done sports for such a long time and then just jumping right back into it, especially something as high intensity as flag football, well, football in general, I injured my I injured my left knee on a juke move. So basically, I plant my left leg in order to push off to go into the opposite direction. And I didn't feel a pop, but I definitely felt a discomfort in my left knee. I walked off the field on my own power, and yeah, I didn't play the rest of the game. Uh, when the pain eventually set in, I couldn't walk really for like the first couple of days. I eventually did some light therapy with Angie at the time, but I never got any formal MRI or any formal checkouts done. Um, Silly me. So this was probably like the October or the November. By the January, I guess I was fine. I was back in the gym again, not training at the same volume that I was, but I was back to being active again. Over the last 5 years, strength definitely was not an issue. I was still able to PR my back squat. PR my front squat.
Yeah. Okay.
PR my snatch. PR my cleans. But there was always a discomfort in my left knee. I definitely lost a lot of flexibility in that leg. And over time, my body learned to protect my left knee by shifting the weight to my right side. And yeah, so because strength was never an issue, I never lost that aspects of my lifting. Um, I never put any thought into doing any type of formal rehab. It's not until I really started to take Olympic weightlifting seriously and I had to now get under the bar a lot faster. I see how physically, yes, I was being hampered, but definitely mentally, I was unable to lift really heavy weights because I was always, I guess, afraid of really hurting myself or re-injuring my left knee.
So I'm just going to grab your ankle
Okay.
and I'm going to try to press your heel to your butt.
Okay.
You tell me if I have to stop and why.
Okay.
What do you feel?
Quad.
Quad stretch?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing in the back?
Not really.
Okay. So here we have one fist and a half of distance, which is about 15 centimeters. And we're going to see the other side. Okay, let's go. Contract.
Yeah, lower back, right side.
Lower back right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can I push more?
Quad stretch.
Okay. So here we are slightly further back. Means that like the quad is anchored on the knee and on the hip.
Okay.
When a muscle doesn't want to be in a stretched position
Mhm.
because it's painful, he will pull on here on the hip. So it will create like an arched back.
Okay.
But here you feel more the right side on your back
Yeah.
when you contract?
Yeah.
Okay. So we may have some exercises that we want to do on the back as well
Okay.
to create capacity in back flexion.
Sounds good.
Okay, good. So we see the difference between right versus left. We have way a much bigger distance on the left side than on the right, meaning that there's more work to do on this side.
Yeah.
And lack of flexibility always creates tension on the joints. So removing this limitation can help remove the tension.
Yeah, so definitely I was always mentally afraid of hurting myself again, that I was never able to lift as much as I could in the Olympic weightlifting. Something that I always noticed that was funny in a way is people would see me squatting 400 pounds and they would always be like, yo, Cam, yo, I want to be like you. Like, I want to be able to lift that heavy. And then I would turn and see them stretching and they're able to go down and sit and make their butt touch their heels. And something as simple as that, or maybe just even stoop down or sit in a squat for like a really long time. Something that's really average and body weight that doesn't really require any type of strength, I was unable to do, you know? So things that people were envious of me for in terms of my strength, I was simply envious of them in terms of their flexibility and their mobility. So I decided that I definitely wanted to get back to that place where I had the flexibility in my knee that I used to have, and I wanted to get to a place where mentally I was no longer afraid to lift certain weights or to do certain movements. So I decided that this year I wanted to do some actual therapy on my knee to get back to that place where I was definitely as flexible as I was, as mobile as I was, and definitely mentally I wasn't being hampered in certain lifts. So I consulted Hugo. We sat, we had a consultation. He did certain tests on me to kind of figure out more or less what the issue was, where the issue was coming from, and then he put together a program that I'm going to be following for the next 6 months in order to get back to, or maybe not even get back to a place that I was, but get back to a better place.
So as Cam said, we did a consultation together to really, for me to understand what were the leverages that we could pull to make his life better. In terms of physical activity, yes, so we did some testings, the joints, knee flexion, hip flexion, etc. But also to understand the context of his life, like how is his recovery, does he sleep well, does he eat well, how does he manage his stress, for example. All those things are very important in rehab because they allow you to heal properly.
So I'm gonna take you guys on this journey with me. I'm gonna show you as much as I can show you because I really don't want to be filming too much during my sessions. And along the way, I'll give you guys little progress updates so that you can be aware of how I'm doing.